Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, and it's nice to be back here. My name is Mary Len. I'm the founder and CEO of Customized Training Solutions Private Limited, and we are passionate about helping leaders and organizations transform and thrive by co-creating a customized program with the help of our world-class resources. And why our clients choose us and what makes us different is that we provide world class experts with a well combination of practical and training experience, our customer centricity, passion, unreserved attention, and responsiveness. And we tailor a lot of experiential programs that are co created with our clients and partners to ensure that it will be cost efficient, relevant, and impactful. So, just to name our clients to include would include Petronas, Sony, ProLife UK, Ayala Group, Chevron, Tencent, Jollibee Food Corporation, and Shell, just to name a few. And it's my great pleasure to be able to introduce to you and to have for today an interview with Murshidah Said. She is a multi-awarded winning international speaker and advisor on personal and corporate transformation. Murshidah runs successful businesses for more than 20 years, expanding throughout Asia. And she is a certified neuro-linguistic programming practitioner and a certified life coach recognized by the American Board of NLP, NBPES, and NLP University in USA. She is also trained in the areas of accelerated learning, whole being learning to achieve better education for participants, and a certified advanced law of attraction practitioner. So without so much further ado, I'd love to bring in Murshidah.
Hello. Hi, Maryland. Good afternoon. So happy to be in this space with you. And I'm very privileged that you also invited me to be in your conference that's happening on the 22nd to the 26th of February.
Thank you. Thank you for taking time to have this interview with us. I know that everyone is so busy with the upcoming Chinese New Year as well. Yeah. And so we will go right to the topic and to the questions. So please share with us so that they would understand where you're coming from, your perspectives and all. So please do share with us your leadership experiences and influencers. So probably your leadership style, your experience, and who influenced you in how you actually lead people at this time.
Oh, thank you so much, Marilyn, for that very important question, right? Now, my leadership style has also evolved over the years. Ironically, also through the mentors that I emulate and the mentors that I've been guided by, right? So initially, when I first started my working life, and I was in a small business, and then I went into a multinational. I was working in a multinational. I was leading in a slightly different way than what I am doing right now. It is very much on you gotta do as I say. Initially, it is more like a very instructional to get the job done, and that was how I led. And then as I grew my team, I realized that didn't work. And it had to be in a very much more supportive space, a very much more loving space. But that evolved much later. And one of the key influences in my leadership style is actually my own coach. Right? I've seen the way she leads through feminine leadership. And that's how I incorporate that into the way I lead right now. And it is a concept that was it is a concept that is very different from the old way of doing things, which is very masculine leadership, like I lead, you follow. It is more about very intuitive, it's very heart-centered, it's very supportive, and it's leading sometimes at the front and sometimes at the back as a way to support the person to further lead and further grow and further evolve and further develop. And I realized with this when I step into feminine leadership, the way I lead through my femininity, through being supportive, through being intuitive, through being guided, through being loving in a space of love and respect, that's where I saw my team started to grow, my followers started to grow as well, and people were like, fanning me, like they became my fan base, and talking about the cause that I'm talking at the same time. So that in a way is how I have evolved in my leadership style. And I would like to acknowledge my mentor and my coach, Gina Devi. I've been learning from her for the last 3 years on feminine leadership and stepping into queen, your queen and all that. And I found that was very, very powerful way. It is a softer approach, not being autocratic, but being very supportive, guiding, loving. And I saw that being presented through, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, and that is encompassing feminine leadership, and that is how I'm very inspired to carry this way of leadership style, being a coach through like the coaching method, through being a supportive person, and also encouraging delegation, encouraging them to lead the team, to lead into their own leadership. And of course, in some circumstances, you also need to be direct. You also need to say, okay, this has to go, this has to stop. Otherwise, there will be repercussions. I mean, I have also stepped into that autocratic style as well. So that is how I learned to blend my leadership style. And that's how I believe so much power in feminine leadership as well.
Thank you so much for that. And I love the fact that you've mentioned the importance of having, feminine leadership to be able to be loving, intuitive, guiding, and supportive to your team. But at the same time, there's a balance on how you have to, give them, I would say, hard love. Right.
Yeah.
To also
Tough
ensure
love, yeah.
that to ensure that they're also following instructions, and they're keeping up with KPIs and all those stuff.
Absolutely.
So having said that, from your perspective, what leadership is, what would you say the definition then of leadership?
The definition of leadership is somebody who can create more leaders, people to step into their own power and to be able to discover their strengths and do good at the same time. And in this panel that you have invited me to moderate and also to speak on, which is on purpose-driven business, conscious business. This is so important, especially in leadership, where when we lead by emulating what is good and right in the world, and empowering other people to step into their own power and be the leaders to spread those good values. Can you imagine how much good we can spread around the world when we empower a person to become a leader and step into leadership? I believe that is the mark of a good leader, to build leaders. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the main purpose of leadership, to be able to create more leaders to
Exactly
help you and to step up when you can't lead anymore, right? So
exactly.
How would you define and describe the next normal? You've mentioned about the upcoming summit that you will be speaking as well. So and our focus for that one is to be able to help leaders on how to lead in the next normal. And how would you define and describe next normal?
Okay, for me, the next normal is the next never normal. So the year 2020, a lot of people have a lot of harsh things to say about the year 2020 and how it was bad and all that kind of thing. I believe that the year 2020 is a reboot year of what is to come, the next normal that is supposed to come. 2021 is the year of transition for us to instill this new set of lifestyle, the way we conduct business, the way we lead, and it has to transform and fit into or be guided to excel in the next never normal. Because as we can see through trends and things that are happening in the world, and even experts are saying that the pandemic, the effect of the pandemic is not going to end, at least for the 4 to 5 years. And some people say it's at least for the next 7 years, you know, where things can at least start to go back to, okay, you can start traveling like before without all the other issues and all that kind of thing. So a lot of things that we live in the next normal is not going to be very normal to us, you know, that is back in 2019. Exactly. So with all of these upcoming changes, like Industrial 4.0, you know, the way we lead, AI, the changes in leadership, demographics, the world demographic population is demographics are also changing, mindsets, habits. People are now going online more, you know, the whole, even the psychographics of society is going to change. So for that to fit into the next normal, with all of this never normal, with all of these changes, climate change, financial crisis, or I would say changes in the way people do finances, you know, online instead of offline, how they do business, how they trade will also evolve rapidly. I can foresee that. Geopolitical changes. So all of these things, in order for you to stay on top of this game, in order for you to succeed in your organizations, to stay relevant, to be able to succeed and thrive, yeah, in the next normal, I would say your leadership has to be really on top. You must be on top of your game, especially as being a leader. You must, you know, the thing about stepping into your leadership and stepping into your power in the next normal would be, how fast can you think on your feet? How fast can you pivot? How far can you see that you bring your team along with you so that no one falls off the wagon? You know, there will be some people who maybe, you know, they were not up to date or not at par because they didn't hear the meeting or the minutes of the meeting, and they fall out and all that. But as a leader, how do you make sure that your team stay together, stay on track, stay on purpose, and making sure that they're able to pivot and be able to fit into any new changes that are happening in the world and survive and thrive together. Yeah.
Yes, true. I totally agree with you on that. And you've mentioned earlier about, you know, the changes that, you know, we need to embrace and that we need to go through to be able to equip ourselves, our team, to the next normal or the never normal, like you said. And so, what do you think will it take to navigate this crisis now that, you know, our traditional metrics and assumptions have been rendered irrelevant? I mean, with so many changes and the never normal, like you've said. Yeah. So, what does it actually take to navigate this?
I believe a lot of things. The leader has to stay humble. The leader has to know that maybe it is not just the one that their own way is the only way to go. The leader is also needed to, you know, be able to listen from, you know, the team as well, and make a conscious decision on the action that needs to be taken and the best way to bring the team across. And what I would say that we have to let go is purely that just autocratic my way or the highway, or, you know, really, really deep set red tape. Like sometimes some organizations can't pivot, or they cannot change, or it takes so long for them to change. And by the time they change, it becomes irrelevant. Is because of that, the red tape, or we got to follow certain protocol without the importance of time, or putting in the importance of deadlines. Yeah, and this is something that is needed for what I believe to navigate the crisis, and things are going to change. Because in my work, I support refugees also, you know, in my work, and we do hear a lot of how their stories are, how the challenges they go through. And, you know, if what I foresee with all these new climate changes and all that, there could be an increase in number of refugees, because wherever they live is unlivable. So they have to move to the next, another location. And again, that can strike a different level of demographics in the world. So that again involves how can you support this kind of changes in your organization. There's new people coming in, there's new culture instilled. So how can you best stay relevant and be able to adapt? I believe adapting easily is also another thing that has to be rendered. Yeah.
Right. I agree with you on that. With all the changes, we have to be able to adapt. And having said that, so what do you believe will be the important leadership capabilities or skills you must have in this next normal to be able to continue and to lead effectively?
The main ones would be creativity. Yeah, because of certain changes, how are you creative to adapt? Listening skills, definitely. The art of asking questions, those are good leadership skills, to develop as well. Asking questions so you can get a certain kind of response and be able to analyze and be able to take on the best strategy. Okay, so another one is, of course, strategic thinking, masterminding skills, I would say, being able to see things from a big picture. Visionaries, would be some people in that kind of leadership would be able to carry their team forward, or to even create a certain lifestyle or culture that the leader envisions, and be able to communicate that to their team. So I would say creativity, listening skills, communication skills, strategic thinking, the ability to create masterminds in the organization, being able to be good visionaries, and also lead the team to pivot. And last but not least, the main skill, or I would say skill, I believe it's more the value of every leader to be able to go to take their team forward, is the values of love and respect. Right, when the leader has love and respect within, all these other external skills like creativity, being able to analyze, think critically, all of this come with the intention to do good through whatever work or whatever they want to bring their team towards. Yeah.
Thank you, Murshidah. And I love the last part where how love and respect is important, to be able to lead effectively in this new normal. And so what do you think would be the role of leadership and transformation? We understand from earlier mentioning a lot of changes and being able to embrace, adapt, and at the same time, the skills that you've mentioned to be able to, take it to the next level. So what do you think would be or do you believe will be the role of leadership and transformation to be able to thrive in this new normal?
I would say just go back to basics, go back to the basic values, the universal values that can align a person with the universe, right? So I strongly believe in universal values and the good humane values in the world, right? So that in order for you to thrive and sustain is to lead people towards these universal values, which is love and respect, doing good, making sure that you don't destroy things while you are creating things, you don't kill off people from, just because, it's not really good business. It is being inclusive. And these are things that I know the world is starting to be very much aware of. We have started talking about this even before the pandemic, importance of diversity, importance of gender equality, importance of inclusivity, importance of having clean environment in your business, in whatever you do, make sure that you take care of the environment, being green and all that. People have started talking about this at least for the last 10 years. It may not be actively led or incorporated into organizations. And right now, with the reminder of COVID and what is to come, I believe this is the role of leadership, to bring people back to universal values, getting them back to doing what humans are capable of in a good way, to do good on earth and to do good for others as well.
Yes, and again, like what you mentioned, I think that's the silver lining that COVID-19 has brought about, right? A lot of realization for most leaders and from everyone. Although it has impacted a lot of businesses and lives, it has also gave us realization on getting back to that, humanity, the universal values, like you've mentioned. And so I that gives me to my last question. That leads me to the last question I have for you, which is actually my Miss Universe question. Yeah. So if you were to ask yourself a question that you can best answer, what would it be? And I would like to add why.
What would it be and why? Okay. This question reminds me of one quote. I think it was like, and I believe one of my last mentors also mentioned this about wisdom is the key to wisdom is asking the right questions. Yeah, the key to wisdom is knowing all the right questions. Ask the right questions, you will get the answers, right? So, what question would I ask myself and why? I believe that question I have asked myself that what is that one question I would ask myself? And this came up, Marilyn. Mm-hmm. How can I use my superpower today? And this is a question I can keep asking myself, right? Every day. How can I use my superpower today? What can I do, with my superpower to help others, to do good, to create, to make a difference? And I believe this is that one question I can best answer every day, that I can discover something about myself that I didn't know existed. So, recently I stepped into my superpower. We call it superpower because, if you see yourself as a superhero who has some strength, it is God-given strength in all of us. We have that. When you discover that about yourself and you act on it and you do good with it, that is where you can either impact people, create changes, do good, spread love and happiness, and help other people also discover something about themselves. And that is something that I started asking myself, and I started acting on it, and I saw the differences that I made through my work, through my projects, and the way I lead, and the way I also push others to discover that part about themselves as well. So what can you do about your strength today? That question. What can you do with what talent, what superpower you have, a God-given superpower you have? What can you do with it today?
Yes, amazing share, and I love that question because sometimes even if we know our strength, we don't get to highlight it or to realize that through that superpower we can actually help more people to to have that awareness, to have that inspiration, right? Yeah. So and I'm really glad that with our coaching calls, you've been always reminding me of my superpowers as well.
Oh yes, and you have so many, Marilyn. Yeah.
Yes, and that was my last question. Is there anything more that you'd like to share or to probably invite them with, or
you know what, Marilyn? I cannot not invite people to your amazing conference. It's 5 days. It's on the 22nd and 26th of February, and it's only for 4 hours. Plus, you get recording out of it, and it's a steal. You know, I spend 5 figures getting a coach, working on my business, stepping into my leadership, and for whatever you are charging, it is a giveaway. And you know, and I highly encourage people out there. My session will be on Monday, on the 22nd of February, and we're going to address with other groups of very talented and conscious business owners who are doing good through business, helping others, transforming the world through business. And this is something, even if you can just you know, attend one day, attend my session, yeah, and come in and learn, because as you learn to step into your leadership and you do good with it, can you imagine how much change, how much the world is going to transform into something that is the next normal, where people love and respect one another, where we take care of the environment, where we do not use and abuse animals to create products. When you empower people in your team, instead of putting them down, empower them to and lift them up, so that we all can do a common purpose, and that is to add value in the world. Can you imagine the more people around the world do that? That is where we can really have an environment where we can step into our best human selves and create what is humanly possible to create a wonderful earth, you know, taking care of Mother Earth, and, you know, through business, taking care of each other, and you know, create more abundance, instead of right now people thinking of food crisis. Like you know, if we all step into this and do good through our work, our life, our message, that is where we can create more abundance. And why not we create more abundance for ourselves, for our families and children, and the rest of the world? So I would say attend all sessions, or get the recording if you cannot make it, if you're busy or whatever. But at least come to my session. There's going to be so much sharing, so much ahas, and I would love for some interaction with the public on that day as well.
Yes,
that's what I want to share.
Yes, thank you so much, Murshidah, for all your insights on leadership and transformation. And I also appreciate that, you know, you are also recommending our program, because at the end of the day, I believe that, you know, leadership is all about accountability, adaptability, and agility. And like what you've said, we are humans. We are created to thrive and not just to survive, right? And
Exactly.
you know, for us to have this, I mean, leaders has to have this growth mindset, be able to communicate effectively, and be able to embrace that change. And you know, it's about time. I mean, that was 10 years ago, in fact, you know. It's about time to create the right culture, to collaborate, and to, you know, have that transition, have that transformation. And it will only be feasible if you know, you start now. I mean, this event that we're organizing is full of passion, full of heart, full of insights, and even strategies that, you know, they can learn from different leaders from around the world. And these are both you know, business leaders and thought leaders, and definitely they will be getting a lot of aha moments during these conversations, the panel discussion, keynotes. And yeah, we look forward to be able to serve more people through this
Absolutely.
summit. Yeah.
Yes.
So, thank you so much again, Murshidah, for this interview and for your insights. We look forward to have you on the 22nd.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me, Marilyn.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.